guys, and welcome back. I decided to take off my glasses and put on my contacts because it seemed very fitting for this vlog that I'm about to do. I'm pretty much going to explain what it was like growing up not knowing I had Waardenburg syndrome. So, for people who do not know what it is a genetic disorder. It's not a disease, not something that you catch. It's more so something you're born with. Now, I personally would like to think of us as the extra ingredient that could have gone wrong, but turned out to be even more extraordinary than we thought. And I am okay with that. Now, there are 4 types of Waardenburg syndrome. Now, type 1 is the gray hairs. I actually started graying when I was 11. I got my first gray strand, and it just blossomed from there. I'm only showing you what y'all can see, but there is a lot more than that. I never realized how uncomfortable contacts were until recently. They've been flipping a lot, so if I act weird, that's why. Another is a discoloration of skin. Like, I have patchy skin, and the area that's lighter than my actual skin tone, I have a lot of gray hair on. So, another symptom is discoloration of the eye. So, for me, I have blue eyes. Both of them are blue. My mom, she has one blue and one brown. But I think it's interesting that that's another symptom. All right, y'all, let me gather my life. Trying to show y'all all these symptoms. Got me looking real crazy on here. Okay, so another symptom is hearing loss in either one or both ears. It's congenital, which means you have it from birth. It's not something that just happens. For type 1, we have wide set eyes. So the position of our eyes is further than what it would be for a normal person. Now, a person with type 2 would have all the symptoms of type 1 except their eyes are not wide set. Now, type 3, which I think is called Klein-Waardenburg, they have all the symptoms of type 2 except they have like abnormal arms and hands. I didn't really do too much research on that to actually see what it means, but type 3 people have that, and it's kind of rare. Type 4 is Waardenburg Shaw, and is also known as, I'm saying this so wrong and I feel bad, Hirschsprung. And it's like a all of type 2, but you have severe constipation or blockage of the intestine. That's also rare, and I am so happy I don't have that. So I also want to say that type 3 and type 4 could also have wide set eyes too. But of course, I didn't do enough research to know that. So, people who have Waardenburg tend to have parents that also have Waardenburg. It'll either be one or both of their parents. Like, it's passed down. So if I have kids in the future, I'm more likely to have a child with Waardenburg syndrome. And I am perfectly okay with that. I think I said this earlier, but the hearing loss is congenital. You do get it from birth. It's not something that just happens, as you get older. So, but I believe I am T1, obviously. My mom may be T2. My sister, the younger sister, I think is a T2 as well. And then my youngest brother, he is a T1 like me. So, now I'm going to talk about what it was like growing up not knowing that I had Waardenburg syndrome. And y'all, my eyes itch right now for these stupid contacts. I don't know how y'all do it. It is aggravating. Anyways, when I was a baby, younger, I would say between my baby years and I want to say about 7 or 8, I was in a deaf community. I was surrounded by deaf people, and I was always told how beautiful I was. Especially with me having the syndrome, which I didn't know at the time that's what they were talking about. But anyways, when I was in school, I did a lot of things. I was in violin. I did drill team cheerleading. I also did Broadway. I was supposed to do a Broadway for Annie. I did everything pretty much. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be in everything. I wanted to put myself out there. I thought everything was fun. But before we got to actually do all our major performances, I had to move. And it made me sad. And then it got to a point where we were moving a lot. And it was hard for me to keep making friends. So I just didn't. I didn't make friends. I didn't join any sports. I didn't join any music activities. I didn't do anything. I focused in school. I didn't hang out with nobody because it just didn't seem like there was a point in making friends only to have to leave them anyways. So I stayed to myself. And then we moved to Texas. And I did not know that Texas would be a horrible experience for me in my younger years. People were mean. They called me all kinds of names, and I didn't understand why. Like, I didn't know why they were teasing me. I didn't know why they were making fun of me. I didn't do anything. I always stayed to myself. They were calling me ugly. They said I was a frog. They said I looked like a bug. They said I was a fish. They also called me an alien, which I actually take that as a compliment now. But before, not so much. But after situations like those, I would come home crying. I would be sad. People would always hurting my feelings, and I didn't know why. I would sit in the mirror and I would look at myself, and I just wonder, like, why do people keep making fun of me? Why do I look different? Why is everyone always picking on me for how I look? What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Like, it was just an ongoing situation, and it just... like, I couldn't talk to nobody about it, because when I did talk about it, I was always told to suck it up and stop crying, and that I needed to ignore them and stop being weak. So I just stayed to myself. I didn't say nothing. It made me more sad. It made me more depressed. It made me want to stay more to myself. So when I went to school, I didn't join anything. I didn't join no sports. I didn't do no cheerleading. I didn't do dance. I didn't do instruments, nothing. I just focused on getting my education. I focused on my schoolwork. I stayed to myself. I didn't even want to make friends because they made me feel like I was just, I wasn't important. I was just a nobody. I was weird. There was something wrong with me, I was the outcast. I felt like I didn't fit in. It was just a lot. And I just felt like that I needed to stay to myself. I mean, I did have a few friends, but it was just like, those were the only people that I hung out with. So after I graduated, I threw high school in the trash. I was like, forget that school. I'm going to try to do better. So when I got to college, it was a different situation. I mean, when I was younger, I was very outgoing. So I wanted to see if I could actually get to that point before, I came to Texas. So when I went to college, I started to open up more. I started to talk to more people. I started to hang out. I wanted to be more outgoing. I didn't want to be that girl that I was in middle and high school. So anyways, college life was good. I didn't really get picked on when I was in college. I'm pretty sure people talked about me, but my friends would always say it was because of jealousy. So, but anyways, so fast forward, Facebook. I joined a Facebook group, and I don't remember what it was. I remember a man going live, and I remember him looking just like my brother, and I was just so shocked and surprised. And so I hit the guy up, and we were talking, and I remember him saying to me, "You are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen with Waardenburg." And of course I was confused because I was like, thank you, but I don't know what that is. Like, I don't have that. And he was just like, no, you do have it. It's a genetic disorder. And I was like, okay, but I've never. And then he just stopped me. He was just like, no, just do some research. I was like, okay, cool, fine. Let me research it. So I do some research. I'm looking at it. I go on YouTube. There's this video that pops up with this person named Steph Senyati. I hope I said the name right. But anyways, so I'm watching the video. She's explaining what it is. And everything that she's explaining to me is everything that I have. And it was at that point that I started to understand who I was as a person. It was at that point that I understood why everything that was happening to me genetically was a thing. It helped me understand why I had wide set eyes. It helped me understand why I was graying so early. It helped me understand why I was hearing impaired, even though I thought I was hearing impaired for a whole different situation. It was a refreshing feeling to actually know who I am. And it took 27 years of not knowing to get me to this point. It's like, wow. And then the more I thought about it, the more I started to get confused, the more I started to get mad. And I was just like, fuck it. Fuck everybody that ever made me feel like I was nothing. Fuck everybody that made me feel so ugly. Like, I was able to get to a point that I could accept myself for who I was and know that I am beautiful. And to everyone that doesn't think I am, it's not my problem. That's your loss. You just don't know how to see the beauty in everything. And 27 years later is I just 27 years later, I can finally understand who I am. I finally know who I am. I can finally accept that I am a very beautiful person. And it's just, I just want to thank everyone that made me feel. I'm trying so hard to do this voiceover and it still gets to me. Like, I just want to thank everyone that allowed me to be me and accepted me for how I looked and who I was, because it made it easier for me to accept myself. It made it easier for me to let people know that I didn't care that they thought I was ugly. I took it as a compliment. It just meant that I was not your cup of tea. And that's okay. I'm just happy that I don't have to hide anymore. I don't have to hide how I look. I don't have to worry about people staring at me and thinking negatively of me. And I'm just happy that I can live my life and not have to wonder who thinks I'm beautiful. And I don't have to worry about anyone taking away the fact that I think I'm beautiful. And that's all that matters. And I thank everyone, oh gosh, I thank everyone who has accepted me for me. It makes me feel so beautiful and so, I'm happy that everyone does not have the same mindset. Everyone doesn't have the same idea of what's beautiful. And that is the greatest thing in this world, is that there are people out here that think that I am beautiful. And there are people out here, oh gosh. There are some beautiful souls out there. That's all I can really say. There are. And I'm thankful to have met everyone. Everyone who has made me feel like I was good enough. Because if it wasn't for that, I would not be here. I would not. And so, thank you guys, because I am here. And I'm here to stay. And y'all will know who I am. I am the Waardenburg Beauty. Get to know me.